the time that he will spend in custody is appropriate.
Welcome to the most mind-blowing narrative of a lifetime. Imagine one of boxing's greatest icons, Floyd Mayweather, facing an unimaginable twist as dramatic headlines declare his arrest for bankruptcy and his goodbye forever. This story is a wild ride of ups and downs, a chapter you never expected, and it's all unfolding now with the latest breaking news. Prepare to dive into every riveting detail as we uncover the shocking events, emotional testimonies, and unforeseen challenges. Confronting a legend in real time, few could have foreseen that the man whose name was once synonymous with unbeatable prowess inside the ring would find himself at the heart of a staggering financial and legal maelstrom. Floyd Mayweather, revered for his dazzling speed, flawless record, and flamboyant lifestyle, has for decades captivated millions with his performances and offering persona. His glitzy existence, built on a career of monumental fights and lucrative endorsements, was the envy of many. Yet, as the latest developments reveal, even titans can find their empires shaken to the core. Rumors have swirled in hushed tones over the years about missteps in business ventures and financial management. Now, in a twist that no one could have truly anticipated, those whispers have culminated in a dramatic turn of events as law enforcement officials executed an arrest that ties directly into allegations of bankruptcy mismanagement. The morning of the incident began with an unusual calm that belied the storm about to break. In a city known for its relentless buzz of glamour and constant reinvention, a stark shift was palpable at the heart of downtown Los Angeles. Reports detail that a well-organized team of officers arrived at the residence that had for years been the symbol of Mayweather's grandeur, a mansion emblazoned with the success of a once unassailable financial empire. The operation was meticulously planned and executed with precision. Observers note that the procedure was as silent as it was sudden, the kind of move that speaks more to necessity than to spectacle. In the ensuing hours, the media scrambled to verify every detail, while fans and critics alike grappled with the reality that the man whose feats in the ring had become the stuff of legend might now be embroiled in a controversy that threatened to cast a long shadow on his illustrious career. Inside the very walls of his sprawling estate, the atmosphere was one of subdued tension, as legal experts and financial analysts began to piece together a narrative that was as complex as it was shocking. Sources close to the investigation have confirmed that the arrest was not the result of any violent act or personal indiscretion in the traditional sense, but rather the culmination of years of financial entanglements that had finally reached a tipping point. The case, while still developing, appears to center on a series of bankruptcy filings and financial discrepancies that emerged from a network of business ventures spread across various industries. Analysts believe that the situation, which had been gestating over a long period, reached critical mass when unforeseen market fluctuations and mounting debts combined to create a scenario that no amount of celebrity glamour could salvage. In an exclusive and unprecedented moment of candor, Floyd Mayweather addressed the situation during a brief press conference held earlier in the day. With a mixture of defiance, sorrow, and reflective introspection, he remarked, "I've spent my life in the ring, overcoming every challenge thrown my way. Today, I face a challenge that hits me where I never thought it would. Inside a system that sometimes chews up even the best of us, I stand by every decision I made, and while I can't change what's happening now, I can only hope that the lessons learned will pave the way for a brighter future." His words, delivered in a measured tone, resonated with fans worldwide. They underscored not only the gravity of the situation, but also a sense of resilience that had defined his career for decades. In that fleeting moment, it was as if the champion in the ring had stepped into a new kind of arena, a battleground where financial realities and legal imperatives collide. As more layers of the story began to unfold, seasoned financial experts and legal analysts weighed in on the potential ramifications of the bankruptcy proceedings. They noted that behind the opulent lifestyle and seemingly unassailable fortune lay a series of high-stakes risks that are all too common in the world of celebrity investments. Over the years,
Air Mayweather, big boy private jet, and do best. That's 700,000. That's 700,000. That's 700,000 right there. And with this, we make just 300,000. That's $1 million. $1 million.
Mayweather had diversified his portfolio into various enterprises, including high-end nightclubs, real estate developments, and multimedia ventures. While many of these investments had contributed to his legendary status and created a dazzling facade of wealth, they also carried inherent risks. In an environment characterized by unpredictable market dynamics, even seemingly secure ventures can falter. The convergence of mounting liabilities, economic headwinds, and perhaps miscalculations in financial strategy meant that what was once a thriving financial empire now teetered on the brink of collapse. Witnesses recount that the arrest itself was executed with an eerie calm that belied the magnitude of the moment. Eyewitnesses at the scene described a procession of legal and law enforcement personnel conducting their duties with a quiet professionalism. The operation, while dramatic in its implications, was handled in a way that avoided the chaos often associated with high-profile arrests. Neighbors and passers-by reported that there was no sign of a riot or outburst. Instead, there was an almost surreal stillness that permeated the area. This attention to decorum might reflect a deliberate effort on the part of law enforcement to maintain the dignity of the proceedings, even as they ushered in a new, uncertain phase in the life of one of sport's most celebrated figures. Over the ensuing hours, the social media sphere was set ablaze with a barrage of reactions. Fans, commentators, and even rival athletes expressed their surprise and concern. The virtual world became a cauldron of speculation, memes, and heartfelt expressions of support. Posts emerged featuring throwback clips of Mayweather's most storied fights, juxtaposed with the stark reality of his current predicament. Yet amid the torrent of opinions and emotional outpourings, a sense of respectful disbelief prevailed. The consensus among many was that regardless of the challenges he now faced, his career in boxing would always remain a testament to his skill and determination. Even as shockwaves of financial controversy reverberated through the community, few could help but express admiration for the determination that had once led him to triumph after triumph in the ring. Deep dives into the financial records of Mayweather's various business interests have begun to paint a picture that is as multifaceted as it is tragic. Preliminary reports suggest that a complex web of loans, unsettled debts, and contractual obligations had been woven over the years with little room for error. In many respects, his financial labyrinth is not unlike the intricate strategies he deployed inside the boxing ring, an interplay of offense and defense, calculated risks, and moments of breathtaking brilliance. However, while in the ring those strategies were honed for victory, in the realm of finance, the stakes were extraordinarily different. The bankruptcy filings now under scrutiny appear to be the result of a long-simmering issue that escalated over time. Legal experts have remarked that such cases are seldom straightforward and are often the culmination of a series of decisions that, while each may have been justified at the time, collectively led to an unsustainable situation. Reports indicate that several business partners and financial institutions are now closely involved in what promises to be a protracted legal battle. Many of these entities have, until now, maintained a discreet silence about their involvement, only now beginning to issue carefully worded statements that hint at deep-seated grievances and complex financial interdependencies. The unfolding litigation is expected to be one of the most closely watched legal dramas of the year. It is a story where every detail, every transaction, and every decision is being scrutinized under the unforgiving light of public opinion. Despite the gravity of the circumstances, those close to Mayweather insist that the core of his character remains unblemished. They speak of a man who has always prided himself on his work ethic, his drive, and his relentless pursuit of excellence, attributes that, they argue, will serve him well as he navigates the stormy waters ahead. In the weeks leading up to the arrest, there had been murmurs in financial circles about unusual spending patterns and unexpected withdrawals from several of his high-profile accounts. While many dismissed these as standard industry fluctuations or the result of strategic business decisions, insiders now believe they were early warning signs of deeper issues, with the current legal developments casting a harsh light.
They call this the $1 million garage.
I know we're on television, Floyd, but I think it's necessary for me to say, damn.
Well, we are on ESPN.
Light on those transactions. What was once dismissed as mere noise is now being re-examined with a much more critical eye. Analysts have pointed out that in the world of celebrity finance, the line between innovation and risk can be perilously thin. It appears that in trying to maintain a lifestyle befitting a global icon, certain risks may have been underestimated. Whether these risks were the result of overambition, miscalculation, or simply the inexorable forces of a volatile economy, only time will tell. What is clear, however, is that the story of Floyd Mayweather's financial empire is now unfolding as a dramatic narrative of rise and peril. Among the voices that have been echoing across media platforms, none have been as impactful as those coming directly from the man at the center of the storm. In a series of candid interviews, Mayweather recounted how the pressures of living up to an almost mythical reputation eventually took their toll. There are moments when you realize that no matter how hard you fight, some battles are fought outside the ring. I thought I had prepared for every eventuality, but life always has a way of throwing unexpected punches, he said in one emotional statement that was broadcast live on several channels. His introspection was palpable, and his acknowledgement of the inherent vulnerabilities that come with a life spent in the public eye resonated deeply with his audience. For many, it was a reminder that behind the aura of invincibility, there is a human being who grapples with challenges and uncertainties like anyone else. This narrative, while steeped in controversy and legal complexity, also offers a moment to reflect on the broader implications for the world of sports and entertainment. Floyd Mayweather has been more than just a boxer. He has been a symbol of perseverance, calculated risk-taking, and the sheer will to succeed against all odds. His financial ventures, for all their glamour and success, were also emblematic of the high-stakes nature of celebrity culture in the modern era. The intertwining of athletic prowess with business acumen created an image of a man who could conquer any arena. Yet the current crisis exposes a vulnerability that is all too common in high-profile endeavors, a vulnerability that arises when ambitions outpace the realities of economic forces. In many ways, this unfolding drama serves as a cautionary tale, a vivid illustration of how even the mightiest can find themselves overwhelmed when financial pressures and unforeseen circumstances converge. The main, evolving story has sparked intense debates among sports fans, financial experts, and legal scholars alike. Some argue that this is a moment of reckoning, a chance to re-examine the very foundations on which celebrity financial empires are built. Others maintain that the complexities of the case defy simple explanations and that any attempt to reduce it to mere financial mismanagement does a disservice to the broader narrative. Throughout the discourse, however, there is a prevailing sentiment of cautious optimism among those who have closely observed Mayweather's career. His record in the ring, marked by determination and an unyielding spirit, suggests that while this chapter may be one of unprecedented difficulty, it is not necessarily the end of his story. The arrest and subsequent bankruptcy proceedings, while significant in their own right, may ultimately prove to be another phase in a life defined by resilience and the relentless drive to reinvent oneself. As details continue to emerge from court filings, financial disclosures, and insider interviews, a tapestry of interwoven narratives is slowly taking shape. One such narrative focuses on the intricate relationships that Mayweather maintained with his business partners over the years. These relationships, forged in the crucible of high-stakes deals and shared visions of grandeur, now appear to be as fragile as glass. In conversations with close associates, it became evident that while the business ventures were always conducted with the utmost ambition, there was never a full understanding of the long-term liabilities involved. The current predicament underscores the double-edged nature of ambition. While it can drive one to achieve unprecedented heights, it can also lead to pitfalls when the risks are not fully accounted for. In listening to the voices of those who knew him best, one gets the impression of a man who, despite his considerable successes, was perhaps burdened by the enormous weight of expectations, both his own and those of a world that watched his every move. Amidst the swirling controversy, legal experts have...
That you went through. Look, being persistent, right? I think the only thing that separates people is passion, right? And having the ability to focus on something, or to work on it, will allow you to work hard enough to be good enough at it. That's the Kobe Bryant run. Right. You know what I'm saying? He outworked those people. He like, you know, a lot of people in the league perform according to their paycheck. So they're like, I ain't getting that money, let them do it.
Kobe was there every day.
Yeah. Working like that. And that's what
practice.
separates him and makes him special to us in a different way, even after he's gone, right? So just thinking of that, that's one thing when you can actually commit to yourself and what you want for your life and you work that hard at it. Even Floyd, when you make yourself, like we got issues over anger, he's still the best fighter out there. until somebody beat him, that's who he is.
Do you
know
think
what
he
I'm
should step back in the ring?
I think he got to right now because the money gone.
Started to unpack the technical details of the bankruptcy filings that are now at the center of the case. The legal framework in which these proceedings operate is notoriously complex, often involving layers of corporate structures, interlocking debts, and intricate contractual obligations. While the full extent of the legal ramifications is still being debated, early analyses suggest that the proceedings may set new precedents in the realm of celebrity financial accountability. Some legal scholars have noted that this could become a landmark case, one that forces a rethinking of the relationship between personal wealth, public persona, and corporate responsibility. Despite the technicalities of the legal language and the dry intricacies of financial documentation, the human element remains central. A man once lauded for his strategic brilliance now finds himself facing the consequences of decisions made over decades, a stark reminder that success, no matter how dazzling, is never immune to the laws of economics and accountability. Public sentiment, as expressed through social media channels and fan forums, paints a picture of disbelief and empathy. For many, the news is surreal, a collision of two worlds that rarely intersect. Here is a man celebrated for his near-mythical career, whose achievements in the arena of sports were once beyond reproach, now confronted by the daunting realities of financial collapse. In many online discussions, supporters express their unwavering belief that his fighting spirit will eventually see him through this dark period. In one particularly moving post, a longtime fan wrote about the journey they had shared watching his career, reminiscing about moments of triumph and adversity. Comments began to flood in, many echoing the sentiment that while this episode is tragic, it is not the sum total of his legacy, and that true champions are defined by how they respond to setbacks. In the midst of the legal battles and the barrage of media coverage, Floyd Mayweather's personal reflections offer a window into his state of mind during this tumultuous period. In a follow-up interview that quickly went viral, he shared thoughts that were simultaneously introspective and defiant. "I have faced my share of obstacles both inside and outside the ring," he said, his voice carrying the weight of years of triumph and struggle. "This isn't about surrendering. It's about regrouping, learning, and coming back stronger. There are moments in life when even the seemingly invincible are humbled, but what defines us is not the fall, it's the rise." His words struck a chord with an audience that has followed his every move, offering a glimpse of determination that, despite the present adversity, remains unbroken. There was an honesty in his confession that resonated with many who have experienced their own moments of defeat, a reminder that vulnerability is not a sign of failure, but a precursor to transformation. The broader implications of this saga extend far beyond the confines of boxing or celebrity culture. In many ways, the unfolding events serve as a powerful allegory for the unpredictable nature of success in a world where fortunes can turn on a dime. Financial markets, much like the boxing ring, are arenas where risk and reward dance an intricate ballet, and even those who seem invincible can be caught off guard by the unexpected. In examining the case of Floyd Mayweather, one is reminded that every asset, whether monetary or personal, is subject to the whims of fate and the inexorable forces of change. The arrest, while undoubtedly dramatic and steeped in controversy, also carries a note of caution, a lesson that the path to greatness is fraught with unforeseen challenges, and that even the most carefully constructed empires can be undone by the relentless march of economic realities. As the legal proceedings progress and the world watches with bated breath, industry insiders are already speculating on the possible outcomes of this landmark case. Some predict that the bankruptcy filings may lead to a restructuring of Mayweather's financial dealings, offering a lifeline rather than an insurmountable barrier. Others assert that the situation could catalyze a series of reforms in how high-profile financial portfolios are managed, particularly for celebrities whose public personas and personal fortunes are inextricably intertwined. In boardrooms and legal chambers alike, heated debates are underway about the implications of this case for future generations of athletes and entertainers. It is a moment that transcends the individual and speaks to larger truths about ambition, accountability, and the volatile interplay between public image and fiscal responsibility.
Here you go.
In quieter moments away from the glare of the media, those who have known Mayweather the longest speak of a man whose inner strength has always been his greatest asset. They recall tales of his relentless work ethic, his meticulous attention to detail, and his unyielding commitment to excellence. And legacy built on countless hours of training, sacrifice, and an almost superhuman dedication to his craft. Even as the current crisis threatens to redefine his public image, those close to him insist that the essence of who he is remains unchanged. Floyd is not just a fighter in the ring, he is a fighter in life, one longtime associate confided. The challenges he faces now are monumental, yes, but they do not erase the years of hard work and the countless victories he achieved through discipline and determination. Such accounts serve as a poignant reminder that the journey of a champion is seldom linear, and that every setback, no matter how profound, contains within it the seeds of future renewal. The unfolding drama has also prompted reflections on the nature of fame and the relentless pressure that accompanies it. In today's digital age, where every misstep is magnified and every success is dissected, maintaining personal and financial equilibrium is an almost Herculean task. Floyd Mayweather's situation is emblematic of the broader challenges faced by those who occupy the intersection of celebrity and business. The constant scrutiny, the competing demands of public image and private reality, and the ever-present risk of miscalculation create an environment where even the most celebrated figures can find themselves overwhelmed. His arrest in this context is not just a legal matter, it is a cultural moment that forces us to reconsider the true costs of relentless ambition and the price of a life lived under the incessant gaze of the world. In the weeks since the incident, a series of analytical programs and expert panels have attempted to dissect the financial intricacies behind the case. These discussions, often broadcast on major television networks and online platforms, bring into focus the razor-thin margins, that separate calculated risk from catastrophic failure. Experts highlight that while Mayweather's on-ring strategies were executed with near-perfect precision, the labyrinthine world of finance demands a different kind of mastery, one that is as much about foresight and planning as it is about seizing opportunities. In their assessments, they caution that the current proceedings could serve as a wake-up call for a generation of high-profile investors, urging a more measured approach to the integration of personal brand and corporate strategy. The dialogue that has emerged in the wake of the arrest is as much about lessons for the future as it is about deciphering the events of today. Throughout this entire ordeal, one of the most striking elements has been the unwavering support from a wide spectrum of fans. Social media platforms have transformed into vibrant hubs of solidarity and hope, where people from all walks of life have shared their personal reflections on the situation. Messages of encouragement, memories of past glories, and calls for understanding have abounded. Many fans have taken to expressing that while the news is shocking and the circumstances are deeply unfortunate, it is also a testament to the multifaceted reality of any public figure's life, where the glories of the past are inextricably linked with the challenges of the present. In a world that often idolizes perfection, the unfolding events have humanized a figure once seen as untouchable, reminding all that even legends are susceptible to life's unpredictable twists. Beyond the emotional and human stories, the legal ramifications of the case continue to evolve with each passing day. Courtrooms have become arenas for high-stakes debates that draw on every facet of financial law, corporate governance, and personal accountability. The legal teams representing both Mayweather and the financial institutions involved are reported to be preparing for a marathon of courtroom battles, one that is expected to capture national attention for months, if not years, to come. The intricate details of contracts, loans, and financial obligations will soon be laid bare for public scrutiny, offering a rare glimpse into the behind-the-scenes workings of celebrity finance. Despite the inevitable complexity of the proceedings, there is an underlying sense of determination among those involved, a determination to ensure that the truth, in all its multifaceted glory, is eventually brought to light. Amid this legal tempest, Floyd Mayweather's personal reflections have taken on a
in sports history, so we're very happy we can put it together.
Do you think Floyd's a little jealous?
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, I mean, how fair is it that Canelo announces this big monumental deal, and then here you have Floyd crawling out of his little rock, trying to sabotage or trying to steal the thunder. I don't know what he was trying to do, but look, I mean, people know that Floyd is Floyd, and that's fine.
You guys traded some shots today. Do you think he went too far?
weighty significance. In a moment of quiet reflection captured by a major news outlet, he was recorded saying, "Every champion faces defeat at some point in their journey. This isn't the end. It's a challenging chapter that I will learn from and overcome. I have faced adversity before, and I have always emerged stronger on the other side." His words, simple yet profound, resonated with many who have faced their own personal battles. They served as a reminder that even in the face of monumental hardship, the spirit of a fighter can never truly be extinguished. There was an authenticity in his tone, a sincere acknowledgement of the reality of the present moment and, most importantly, a pledge that the lessons of today would forge the path for tomorrow. At the heart of the emerging narrative is a tale of redemption. The current crisis, though overwhelming, has also ignited discussions about recovery, reinvention, and the enduring power of resilience. Financial analysts and sports historians alike are drawing parallels between the unpredictable nature of the boxing ring and the equally unpredictable arenas of business and finance. Just as a fighter must adapt to an ever-changing opponent, so too must anyone navigating the turbulent waters of wealth and fame be prepared to reinvent themselves when circumstances demand it. In many respects, Floyd Mayweather's arrest, while a severe setback, can also be seen as the precursor to a transformative new beginning, one where the lessons of an illustrious past inform a more sustainable, measured approach to the future. Observers now point to the possibility of a carefully orchestrated comeback, a narrative thread that is all too familiar in the world of sports. The idea that a champion, even when cornered by the harshest of realities, can engineer a return to form is not merely a product of hopeful speculation, but a recurring motif in the annals of athletic history. In private meetings and confidential discussions, there is a palpable sense of anticipation about what the future might hold. Could this be the moment where a new strategy is born? One that leverages decades of experience to rebuild what has been lost? While the legal process continues its inexorable march, there is a growing belief among insiders that this crisis might eventually prove to be the catalyst for a reinvention that transcends the boundaries of sports and business. In the final analysis, the saga of Floyd Mayweather's recent arrest is a story of contradictions, a narrative of unparalleled success, shadowed by unforeseen adversity, of financial opulence now intertwined with the stark realities of debt and litigation. It is a story that forces us to reconsider the nature of triumph and the precarious balance between glory and downfall. For a figure who once embodied invincibility, the current events serve as a potent reminder that even the strongest fortresses can be besieged. Yet within this narrative lies the undeniable truth that setbacks, no matter how severe, are often followed by comebacks that defy expectations and rekindle hope in the hearts of those who dare to dream. Examining the timeline of events in detail, it becomes apparent that the road to this dramatic juncture was paved with a confluence of high-stakes decisions and unforeseen economic shifts. In the years leading up to the arrest, several of Mayweather's most ambitious ventures had encountered difficulties that, at the time, were quietly mitigated by strategic planning and infusions of capital from supportive partners. However, as market conditions evolved and pressures mounted from both internal management challenges and external economic disruptions, the once robust financial structures began to show signs of strain. Rumors of liquidity issues, coupled with reports of erratic spending patterns, slowly coalesced into a narrative that would eventually force the hand of legal authorities. In retrospect, the writing was on the wall, and the arrest represented a culmination, a necessary intervention designed not only to address the immediate financial discrepancies, but also to send a broader message about the accountability that accompanies immense wealth and influence. In many respects, the unfolding drama has catalyzed a re-examination of the very concept of success in a world that values both glamour and grit in equal measure. Floyd Mayweather's legacy, long defined by his tactical brilliance and unyielding confidence, now faces the challenge of reconciling an image of unchecked success with the harsh lessons of financial vulnerability. Across industry conferences, academic panels, and televised debates, experts have drawn comparisons between his rise to
Crawl under his rock, then call out Canelo once again at 160, okay, 100 pounds, 160 pounds, call out Canelo and do the rematch, and that's it.
You think he's talking this trash because he wants a rematch? You think he actually wants
Absolutely.
You think he wants a rematch?
Look, another reason why he's crawled out of his rock, he needs money.
You think he needs money?
Absolutely.
He's always flossy.
It's absolutely, he needs money.
You think he's going
Once
broke?
again, come on. Fighters like that always go broke.
He's always spending, so I guess.
Absolutely. Look, he's not fighting anymore, so that big money's not coming in. Look at what happened to Mike Tyson. He made what, $500 million?
Right.
You think you can spend $500 million overnight? Absolutely.
You can't.
I doubt he'll ever step into that ring. Floyd's a big freaking.
He called Canelo the easiest win of his career.
Yeah, because he was 21 years old.
Right.
Of course. If I fought Ryan Garcia, who's 19 years old, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna beat him.
To fame and the volatile nature of modern finance. They argue that the case serves as a microcosm of a larger phenomenon, a reminder that even those who have seemingly conquered every obstacle in their path are not immune to the caprices of fate. This broader context enriches the narrative, transforming it from a singular story of personal downfall into a universal meditation on resilience, responsibility, and the intricate interplay between ambition and prudence. Amid the legal wrangling and public debate, there has also been considerable focus on the effect of these events on the community of athletes and entertainers who have long admired Mayweather's meteoric rise. For many, he has represented the quintessential self-made champion, a figure who rose from humble beginnings to claim his place among the elite. His current predicament has ignited a sense of solidarity among his peers, many of whom have come forward to express not judgment, but a heartfelt wish that he overcome this adversity as triumphantly as he conquered opponents in the ring. These expressions of support serve as a powerful reminder that while the circumstances may be dire, the bonds formed through decades of shared struggle and success are not easily broken. Simultaneously, the media frenzy surrounding the case has given rise to a relentless pursuit of every detail, with reporters from across the nation vying to piece together a comprehensive picture. It has become a race against time to verify financial documents, interview key players, and extract statements from sources who have long operated behind the scenes. Every new revelation is met with fervor by an audience that is both captivated and conflicted, a testament to the enduring allure of a story that blends the glamour of celebrity with the stark realities of financial accountability. In this environment, every statement from Mayweather, every comment from his legal team, and every insight from financial analysts is scrutinized for clues that might indicate the next twist in the tale. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of the narrative is the raw, unfiltered emotion that has emerged from the heart of the controversy. In a recent intimate interview with a respected national broadcaster, Mayweather opened up about the personal toll that the ongoing legal battles have exacted on him and his family. "There are nights when the weight of everything feels overwhelming," he admitted in a moment of vulnerability that left many viewers teary-eyed. "But I know that I was built in the arena of adversity, and this is just another challenge that I will face head-on. I am not defined by this moment, but by the journey that brought me here, and the battles I have yet to fight." His words, steeped in sincerity and a quiet determination, underscored a resilience that went far beyond the confines of the boxing ring. They painted a portrait of a man who, despite the specter of bankruptcy and legal scrutiny, remains committed to fighting for his dignity and his future. Behind the headlines and the dramatic statements lies a maze of financial transactions, investment strategies, and contractual obligations that have shaped Mayweather's extensive business empire. Over the course of his career, he invested not only in sports-related ventures but also in real estate, entertainment, and lifestyle brands that offered him a platform to extend his influence beyond the realm of boxing. Many of these ventures were launched with bold ambitions and innovative visions. However, the inherent unpredictability of the market, combined with occasional missteps in judgment, appears to have contributed to a cumulative financial strain that could no longer be ignored. For industry insiders, this is a familiar tale, a narrative of high-stakes, risk-laden decisions, and the sobering reality that even the most dazzling fortunes are subject to the relentless dynamics of global finance. As investigators meticulously comb through financial records and audit trails, new details are emerging that shed light on the underlying causes of the financial collapse. The evidence points to a complex interplay of market pressures, regulatory hurdles, and perhaps a series of miscommunications among the various parties entrusted with managing the empire. While it is too early to pin the blame on any single factor, the unfolding documentation paints a picture of a system that, despite its initial promise, ultimately became unsustainable under the weight of mounting obligations and a shifting economic landscape. Legal experts are now tasked with untangling this web, and every day brings new revelations that add nuance to an already intricate story.